put a fighter in your corner.
It's time to lift off at the Trip Walton lunch pad, the Trip Walton Law Firm show. We're lunching. Speaking of lunch, I'm hungry, but not that type of lunching.
We're talking about food since you got here.
Exactly. We're talking about launching your episode. Man, how are you? Good to see you again.
I'm doing good. Survived spring break. First time I've been on spring break in about 20 years, but I decided to go.
Okay.
It was cold and it was rainy and it was windy, but it was fun to get out of the house.
Okay, so no water activities that you can talk about on TV?
No. A few fun showers, but that's about it.
Okay, no hot tubs, anything like that?
No, stayed away from the hot tub.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
I got to watch the skin. I can't
Got to watch the
too
skin.
hot of water.
I got you. So can you share with us where you actually spent spring break?
Yeah.
A little bit of it.
Yeah,
anyway.
I went down to Watercolor, which is right next to Seaside, which is close to Sandestin,
right,
which is close to Destin,
mm-hmm,
which is between Destin and Panama City.
mm-hmm.
And so, back when I was married to Jackie and the kids, we went down there and got a house a couple of times a year, so I was very familiar with it. So
right.
I wanted to go back, and it was fun.
Right, I like that.
I ate too much, but that's why I went.
Exactly.
I mean, I didn't go to lay it on the beach. I went to eat.
Exactly.
So I was making reservations at restaurants a week before I went to make sure I had the right restaurants.
And
So
there's a lot of good food up there,
too. It was
too.
fun, and took my new girlfriend. That was fun.
Were you supposed to share that? Do we need to edit that out? Or you want to leave that in?
You can leave that in.
Okay.
I'm not going to use any names to protect the innocent.
All right, took the new girlfriend. All right, so I bet that was fun.
It was fun.
It was
survived
new?
five days in close quarters. It was fun.
Okay, all right. You can tell a lot about a relationship a little bit when you get a chance to.
Yeah, spend a little time with somebody.
Yeah, spend a little time together. Okay,
so it was good.
Well, good.
It
So
was
are
a
you refreshed and renewed?
I am. I came back, worked out yesterday for the first time. So took 8 days off from my gym, and it nearly about killed me.
Okay.
Got in the sauna. That nearly about killed me, but I'm on my way back.
Okay. All right.
It's not going to take me as long to bounce back.
Well, good. Well, good, man. We're glad to have you back, and I'm glad you had a wonderful time. You didn't find any people that were out of order or doing anything totally off the beaten path. Not where you were located, anyway. That's why you go there, so you can get away from that stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
It was very calm.
Okay. Good deal.
Very calm. Wasn't that crowded. In the summer, you can't stand it down there anymore.
Exactly.
So the time I like to go was October, November, and then March to May.
We were actually talking at the dinner table the other day with our kids and sharing them that 25, 30 years ago, it was nothing in Destin. It was like the country part of Florida, and only old people went there.
Oh, yeah.
It's changed a little bit.
It's amazing.
It's amazing.
I mean, every time I go down there, I don't recognize something.
Exactly.
And they were doing full construction this time, which was a little annoying. It's always construction going on.
Right.
For the prices you pay, you'd think you could sleep past about 6 o'clock without hammers going off and, hearing screaming and hollering from the workmen, but, it's part of it.
It's part of it.
It's always like that.
Okay. All right. Well, what do you think about our Auburn basketball team losing in not the championship game, but the game before that? They're just falling apart at the wrong time, it appears.
Yeah, instead of, you're right. Instead of clicking at the end of the season, we clicked at the beginning.
Right.
And, hopefully we can make a run in the big dance. We played Jacksonville State. I don't know why we're not just playing up there at their gym. But that'll be interesting to see if we can get awake enough and concentrate enough to beat a team that we should beat handily.
Right.
But, sometimes, particularly in basketball, you sometimes play down to your competition. They jump up on you and you lose the game. Hopefully that won't happen.
That won't happen, because it has happened in the past.
It has happened.
That's why they call it March Madness.
And the tournament this year should be extremely exciting because there's nobody that should walk
away with it.
Everybody's as good as everybody
on
any given night, which is easy to say anytime, but this year it really looks like it's going to be a lot of fun.
That's why it surprised me that Texas A&M didn't get in, even though they had a bad earlier part of the season, but they had a strong at the end, so they didn't even make it in.
Yeah,
so.
that was kind of weird.
But anyway.
But I guess they'll go to NIT.
NIT, all right.
Yeah.
So you got a congratulations on here, to shout out to Sid Lockhart.
Yes, let's shout out to Sid. He won an award, and it was called the Chief Justice Perry Hooper Senior Lifetime of Outstanding Service and Excellence in Leadership Award.
Okay.
And that was presented to Sid up in Birmingham on March the 10th. And we saw some of that on Facebook. Those of you who follow Sid on Facebook, and it was just great.
Okay.
Sid's done a wonderful job, and I hate he's going to retire. But I'm sure there's several people in the running that will make good sheriffs too.
Exactly. That's what I heard. So
Yeah.
it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, it will be interesting.
And congratulations to Troup County ladies basketball player Lexi Murphy, a junior, for being named the Girls Region 2 4A Player of the Year.
Excellent.
She was a baller too. I saw her play a couple of times this year. She could really
Must have been.
make it do what it do. You know what I'm saying?
That's good. That's good.
Now next week we're going to be talking about insurance, and I think you want to share something for the people to go out and get ready.
We're going to put a deck page up on the screen today so everybody can look at it and know what a deck page is. So next week when we do the show, you can have your own deck page handy to look at when we talk about what this coverage is and what this coverage isn't, and what you need and what you don't need or what you may need.
Okay.
So take a look at the deck page we're going to put on the screen today and dig around in your car, or a lot of people now have them on their phone or on their computer. You know, we used to all keep it in the glove compartment.
Right.
Every year or every 6 months you go put it in the glove compartment, take the old one out and put the new one in. But now most people have it on their computer or their phone, so just have it handy so you can sort of stay with the flow of the conversation, and you may learn something about your coverage that you need to know.
Exactly.
Or you need to add, or you just get rid of. One of the two.
All right. So Tripp is giving you homework for next week. Get those deck pages out.
Get those deck pages out.
It's time for our motivational segment too, which people enjoy so much, coming from Tripp.
We've been talking about being successful, but I don't think I have shared with my following here
Okay.
the pyramid of success.
Okay.
And what made me think about it was the other day I was talking to my children, my 3 stepchildren, and they said, "Who are you lecturing now, since you're not around us, about the pyramid of success?" And I said, I'd almost forgot about it. But
Okay.
we had a thing called the pyramid of success regarding every part of life, whether it was picking up your room, your math test, your football, your baseball, your basketball, of course, your cheerleading. But, life is a pyramid. And it's easy to be at the bottom of the pyramid because those people are not going to do what it takes to get to the top of the pyramid. And of course, the top of the pyramid is the pinnacle of success.
Okay.
Whether it's in tiddlywinks, watercolors, basketball, math, just like, for instance, every class has a valedictorian. Well, he or she is at the top of the pyramid. And then the salutatorian's right down there. It's tough up there at the top. There's not many people at the top of the pyramid in anything.
No.
Whether it's cooking cookies or laying brick or whatever, everything has a pyramid, or at least that's my way I
You're preaching now.
Okay. So, to be at the bottom of the pyramid is very easy. You just do nothing. You're just like a dead fish floating down the stream. You get caught up in a bush and you rot. You've just wasted your time. Now, to get to the top of the pyramid, those people do things that other people just will not do. They get up earlier, they go to work earlier, they stay up later, they work on weekends, they go, and you can see them easily, like people that own our TV show. They're very successful because they go. They're at the top of their pyramid. So visualization is what I want to sort of tie into now that I've got the pyramid out there for everybody. Visualization is when you concentrate on what you want to do. Like, I used to lay on the bed and shoot the basketball up to the ceiling. We had 14, 15-foot ceilings, so I could lay on my bed in high school and constantly shoot the ball and work on my shot. So when I scored, 40 points in a game, or 32 points in a game, or 29 points in a game, people would say that's lucky. Well, that's not luck. That's preparedness versus, reaching opportunity.
Yes, sir.
And so, but you say, well, that's a waste of time to do that over and over. No, because I was visualizing shooting in a game. And you can do that with running routes. You can do that with your math. The one thing you can't really do visualization with successfully, and you may have a problem with it, because I've relied on it in other words, if you can't see it, you can't be it.
That's right.
But a lot of times I have done that with relationships. So I'll caution people about what you think about a relationship, because you got another person involved. And you can't visualize for another person.
That's right.
And so once that thing ends, that dream or that visualization where that individual ends, you can't keep on going down that trail because that trail is over. But you created the dream, so you can change the dream. And that's just where you can run into a problem because I visualize everything.
Okay. Okay.
And so I have seen where it came to bite me when I'm visualizing what other people should do,
right,
or how they should behave, or how they should act, or what they should do or not do, because you can't visualize. It's same with your children. I mean, we've all had children. We've all seen 2, 3, 4 children grow up with the same parents, same school, same teachers, same everything, and they're all different.
All different.
Totally different. Good, bad, and indifferent. They just, they got little things. It's amazing. But anyway, visualizing things is an extremely important way to become accomplished at what you want to do, to be successful at what you want to do. And you just see it in your mind's eye, and you see it, and you see it, and you think about it, and then it goes into your consciousness, and then there you have it, you're doing it. Like famous golfers visualize putting while they're on the green, and they see it happening, and then they do it. Same with basketball, same with football, same with mathematicians. Everybody that's successful has to use some degree of visualization to get there. Because again, if you can't see it, you can't be it. And that's the story for today.
You can't see it, you can't be it.
You can't see it, you can't be it. And think about your pyramid. Now, I'll tell you something funny. One of my children really messed up something one time. And they was so sick of the pyramid, so I said, congratulations, son, you have inverted the pyramid. You not only are the worst, you're the worst. Everybody is above you. Even the people at the bottom of the pyramid are now above you.
Wow.
And he said, did you make that up just for me? I said, yeah. He said, give me a hug. I said, this is not going right. he teared up. He said, I can't believe you figured that out just for me. I said, well, it wasn't hard to do. I mean, you were washing the car. You left the hose on for 4 days.
Okay.
The neighbors called. The homeowners association called. You flooded the entire golf course. I said...
That's a way to end up on the bottom.
So he was so proud that we came up with a new thing named after him.
Okay.
In the pyramid, the inverted pyramid.
Okay.
So be careful you don't get in the inverted pyramid. You want to be at the top of this pyramid. And it's just something to think about.
Well, good, man. That's awesome. That's awesome. The philosopher, the wonderful philosopher. Okay.
I'm trying to work on it with eating.
Okay.
How to get the top of the pyramid and what you eat and what you don't eat.
Okay. Well, that's next then.
That's next. I'm on it.
Okay. All right. It's time now for some of our viewer questions. How
Let's
about
do
that?
it. That sounds like
Thank
fun.
you so much for reaching out to us and reaching out to the show. And this is a question for Tripp. If you purchase a car with your fiance and now that we broke up, who gets the car? We both paid half. However, I paid all the insurance. Plus, she recently got the car towed. Wow. And then I paid for the car to get out of the pound. By the way, the car is registered to me.
Well, I don't want to sound like my mother because every now and then I'd call home with a question for her. She'd say, what in the world did you do that for? I said, Mom, I'm calling for help. Well, you better talk to your daddy.
Okay.
Okay. First of all, that is totally out of my bailiwick of specific law. I don't do those kind of things, so I can't really give you a valid opinion because I just don't do it. And there's going to be tons of other information that a lawyer would need to figure that out. You can always litigate it by someone filing a suit, but the question is, did you pay cash? Is the car completely bought? Was there any agreement, verbal or otherwise? I mean, there's so many different variables. It comes basically under the heading of a domestic mess. Thank God I quit doing divorces about 35 years ago.
Right.
So, to answer your question I can't answer your question.
That's a lot.
It's over my head because there's so many variables.
Right.
Like, was it financed? Did y'all just pay cash? Both pay cash? Who has it now? Who's got the insurance? It said, I think he said it was registered in his name. I'm assuming that means the tag.
Tag, that's what I'm
But
thinking.
who's the title?
Title.
Is the title in one name or in two names? Does somebody need to buy the other party out?
Okay.
You got
that's a lot.
You got a lot of issues over what you would think would be a simple issue, but it's problematic. So to answer your question it's way over my head.
All right. Sorry, Chris from the net, but we thank you for your question, and so we'll go to the next. I saw, this comes from Amy W. out of LaGrange. I saw the heated exchange on your page about the toy guns. Please have Trip to discuss it so I can hear their discussion. That's a hot topic. First, I want to know their opinion about the situation. Should the kids be charged? Should the parents be charged? And last but not least, I love watching Kevin and Trip together.
All righty then.
All right. Hey. Let's go back to the question.
What is the question again? I think the question is a good question.
Okay.
I guess law enforcement has to make the decision whether they file charges, and apparently they did decide to file charges. Mm-hmm. There is statutory law in both Alabama and Georgia regarding when children do things willfully, maliciously, on purpose, with intent to harm, mm-hmm. that the parents can be held somewhat responsible.
True. Don't mean to cut you off. Let me read this first paragraph, just in case people don't know what's actually going on. Yeah, I'll be real quick. It says on March the 7th at about 6 p.m., 2 males entered the property of the tennis pro shop, Honeycutt Place, with 2 plastic handguns loaded with Orbeez gel projectile rounds that shoot a distance of up to 20 feet. Once inside the shop, the males intentionally and without justification shot a male victim from a distance of 20 feet who is an employee between 10 and 12 times in the face and neck area while laughing. They then ran from the tennis pro shop and into the parking lot. Once in the parking lot, they intentionally shot a second female victim in the back multiple times with the same projectiles before fleeing the area on foot. So that just gives you a little insight what Tripp is explaining now.
Yeah. And the question was, should they be charged? They have to be charged. That's what, the law requires you to charge somebody. You can't just not charge somebody. Mm-hmm. What the court decides to do with it is a whole other thing. You got to keep in mind that when people are juveniles or like youthful offenders or stuff like that where they're young, say under 18 or under 19 or under 20 or under 21, depending on what state you're in. Mm-hmm. The reason there are statutory schemes to help those people and keep it private and keep it down low is because, let's face it, they ain't got any sense. Mm-hmm. And a lot of them, your brain does not begin to operate, your frontal lobes on your brain, and a lot of men don't connect up until they're in their early 20s. For instance.
That's true.
When you see a individual riding down the interstate going 90 to 150 miles an hour on a crotch rocket between cars with this much space on either side, they don't even know they're fixing to die. Mm-hmm. Their brain is not hooked up. Mm-hmm. The lights are not on in the frontal lobes, which is executive functions, fear, decision-making, judgment. They have no judgment. Mm-hmm. So that's why they have these laws in the juvenile area to take care of these kind of things, because hopefully these people snap out of it. But should they have arrested? In my opinion, yeah, they should have arrested them. That's what the law requires. They can't ignore the law. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Once they make the arrest, then the justice system can determine what the punishment is and how it's to be handled. But if they didn't arrest, you'd have anarchy. People run around doing this all the time. And if they did it, let's go do it. Let's everybody do it. And then we got,
mass chaos.
Mass chaos. So, you hate it happens, but the system is set up where it should protect people of that age, mm-hmm. even though there's some punishment involved. And then hopefully they'll snap out and say, what in the world was I thinking?
Right.
8 months ago when I did that.
Right.
Because somebody could have been very seriously hurt, and they could have been shot. There's many people who are toting weapons these days.
Exactly.
Somebody runs in there and boom, boom, boom. Then all of a sudden, I'm sorry, I didn't know they would play guns. And I never could understand if the guns had been painted to look real, or if they were the bright orange and white colors that I saw on one of the comments.
Okay.
So I don't know all the facts, but the law is clear that they can be charged and the parents be charged. Now, one interesting thing between Alabama and Georgia, which is always some subtle differences, a parent in Alabama can only be responsible for up to $1,000 in damages intentionally caused by their minor child. In Georgia, you're up to $10,000 for intentional or willful damages done by your child.
Wow.
So there's a $9,000 swing depending on what state you're in. So, you know, most parents can cover up to $1,000, but a $10,000 bill for, let's just say, tearing up pool furniture, pushing everybody's pool furniture in the pool at the country club or something. I've seen that happen before.
Right.
And parents are only on the hook for $1,000.
Okay.
And I had a case with one of my children one time where I kept waiting for the bill to come in for the $1,000 because it was many thousands of dollars worth of damage that 2 or 3 of them did when they were probably 12 or 13.
Okay.
And it's tough because, I mean, you never know what your child's going to do.
Okay.
You know. But you do have a responsibility as a parent to try to do the best you can do. That's all you can do. And I've never seen parents really hammered in these kind of cases.
You haven't? Okay.
I have not personally, but that doesn't mean it hadn't been.
All right.
But I bet a lot of people didn't even know those statutes existed, that a parent could be responsible up to $10,000 in Georgia and up to $1,000. Now, not on an accident.
Okay.
Even a child, a minor, let's just say, jumps in the car and takes off at 11 years old and runs a red light and hits somebody. The parent is not responsible for that.
Okay. Okay.
Of course, hopefully they got car insurance, and the car insurance will pick up the tab for somebody who's injured. But the parent is not responsible for a negligent act or something like that. It has to be intentional, wanton, willful. You know, I'm intending to do harm.
Okay.
Which would be akin to these shooting the bullets at people.
Right.
So, you know, thank goodness the children weren't hurt that were doing it. Thank goodness the victims weren't hurt or weren't hurt badly. They may have been hurt to some extent.
Exactly. And you have some juvenile statistics here about juvenile crime that's taking place. You want to?
Yeah, it was amazing. We looked up juvenile crime because this happened, and thinking that it's happening all the time. But according to the FBI stats, juvenile crime has decreased by over 67% from 2006 to 2019, which we find sort of shocking. We see it on the internet all the time. We see the news clips. But according to what the FBI says, the crime rate for juveniles has really dropped. And I sort of wonder what's responsible for that.
Right. It doesn't sound correct.
It doesn't sound correct. And it is coming from the FBI, so it may not be correct. Okay. I hate to say that, but I don't know. But that's what the stats show. And I can't imagine what that was caused by.
All right.
After school programs, Boys and Girls Club help, keeping people occupied, maybe these laws that we're talking about where parents have to be more responsible because they're worried about, but most parents probably have no idea that they could be upheld to, required to pay $10,000 in damages in Georgia and up to $1,000 in Alabama for their children's acts. Because most people don't know it exists.
I never thought that either.
I mean, I've been practicing law 40 years, but for my child getting into a pack of trouble back whenever it was, I would never known it existed.
Okay.
And I've been practicing law for years. So it's interesting.
Okay.
And there's a lot of good debate on this on the website, on Facebook.
Okay. About
whether they should be charged or parents should be charged. And everybody's different viewpoints, which is a good discussion to have. I mean, everybody doesn't need to agree on everything.
Right.
So I thought it was interesting, some of the comments, pro and con, the whole thing.
Okay.
And most people, take it from a personal point of view, and that's what people do.
Right.
So.
Anything other?
Keep up the good thinking.
Keep up the good thinking. Anything else you want to share about Georgia as far as it
I
relates
think
to? You think that's about it?
I sort of got it.
Okay.
In
Georgia.
a nutshell.
All right. Okay. All right, Alabama's, you want to share a little bit about that? Or?
Alabama's virtually the same.
Okay.
It involves children 18 or under that are in the care and control of the adult. The minor's living with the person, and the person has custody. So, you got the, now, one thing's interesting in Alabama. There's an exception for forest. foster parents. Some reason I had Forrest on my mind.
Forrest
One of
Gump.
my children.
Run, Forrest.
So foster parents aren't liable for actions of their foster children in Alabama.
Okay.
So
Well, I'll tell you how my parents raised me on something like this, you know, coming up. So, hey, boy, you get out there and you cause any trouble, you damage anybody else's problem, I'm going to kill you.
yeah, I heard that.
Okay, so that means I don't supposed to do that. I'm not going to do that. I don't want to be killed.
You know, we took a bunch of kids, 14-year-olds, to the beach one time, about 20 kids, and I gave them this big speech. If I catch anybody tearing up anybody's, with all these fancy beaches, anybody's lawn furniture or pushing umbrellas in the pool, stuff like we used to do, I am going to whoop your butt.
Okay.
And then I'm going to call your parents to come get you and take you home. Well, they would look at me like, he is an idiot. They weren't thinking about tearing stuff up. They were thinking about drinking beer and smoking cigars at 14. And I didn't drink till I was 25, so I was
You was totally
just, I was going down the, so we found out they were getting beer from some of the older kids that were down there. They were dropping off coolers in the neighborhood, and they were going to go.
Okay.
So I called some of his parents, and I said, you're going to have to come get your child. He's out of control.
Okay.
He's coming in drunk. He's 14 years. I'm not going to tolerate it. And they said, well, Trip, my gosh, where'd you get your beer when you were 14? I said, when I was 14, I drank my first beer at 24.
Wow.
So anyway, I was not a good babysitter for the kids because I was totally I didn't expect it.
Okay.
I thought they might tear up an umbrella or something.
I got you. All right. Well, Trip, we are out of time.
How could we be out of time?
Because
We're having such a good
just
time.
exactly time flies.
It's all
when
that
you're having fun.
visualization of time flying by.
That's it, flying by.
Time
Is on whose side?
is on my side.
All right. Tell the people if they want to utilize your services, how do they contact with you?
Run like a scalded dog. Call me at 334-321-3000 or go to the website at www.waltonlaw.net.
Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you and look forward to seeing you next time.
We don't start the fight, we finish it.
Car accident, DUI, wrongful death? Contact the Walton Law Firm, 334-321-3000.